What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, go down below the video, hit subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss any of Restalgia's upcoming videos. Welcome to the show, boys. Let's get started. Anytime.
How about a big shout out in the live chat for Restalgia, giving it all while we're missing Detroit Love tonight. Way to go, man. You got me all fired up for the show.
I just got to bring some energy.
That was intense, Restalgia. That was intense. Oh. It's Friday night, gentlemen. How are you?
I'm okay.
Doing okay.
Excited. What about is the live chat awake? I don't think they're awake.
No
Someone tell the live chat to wake up. Let them know. I don't see the live chat moving fast enough. I can't start the show with the live chat this quiet. They got to wake up.
Got it. I'm on.
Who's awake?
I'm not allowed to touch my keyboard.
Detroit Love is getting ready for the big Lions game tomorrow. Actually, my theory, hypothesis, Nostradamus, Sensei, like the Force is telling me that Detroit Love is not here tonight because he doesn't want to face P-Dubs and the Chicago Bears after what we did to his Detroit Lions. I think that's what's going on here. He didn't want to have that conversation with me, so he's in hiding.
That sounds accurate.
It's holiday season, so a lot of us have holiday stuff going on. So he's with his family tonight. So hopefully they're having a really, really good time. They're having a really good time. Restalgia, great job. Intro is stroked the banana. Whoa. Justin Miles is getting a little naughty in the live chat. Tell him to settle down.
Absolutely not. Keep settling up, buddy. Let's do it.
You know what's funny is my Chicago Bears, they predicted would go 0-16. And here they're 5-8 and still have a chance to make the playoffs if they win out. It's crazy. It's crazy. You never know what can happen in the NFL, man. That's why you play all the games all the way through. By the way, guys, who's your picks right now with NFL? Who do you guys think is going to the Super Bowl? Let us know in the live chat. Michael B., I know you're an avid football fan. Who's going all the way?
I got a good feeling about these Carolina Panthers.
Shut up, Mike.
Are you going with the Packers or
no?
The Eagles,
I think my heart's with the Packers, but I don't know if I'll get there. It's tough to vote against Kansas City any year right now with the team that they have and the quarterback that they have.
We got 49ers fans in the live chat. 19K Fox, what do you know? He's going for the Cowboys.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, bring back Cutler. Oh my God, the Bears. You know what's funny is Cutler had to run for his life the same way Justin Fields did, but he still threw three or four touchdowns a game and a couple hundred yards. Justin Fields, man, he's just running. He's just running that poor Bears team.
You know, it'd be crazy if you had an opportunity to draft Mitch Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes. You should definitely take that chance.
Hey, you never know what's going to happen, right? Like, look what happened with the Panthers. They got the #1 pick, brought in what's his name, Bryce, and looks like Bryce is a bust. So
it happens.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to be a quarterback in the NFL when you're only 5'10", which is just a little bit shorter than me. I'm 5'11". I can only imagine myself lining up against these monsters. You know what I mean? So. Pretty crazy. Anyway, let's talk some video games. This isn't an ESPN. This is this is the Super Game Room, dudes. Thanks as always for joining us on Friday night, guys. We got a few topics we want to talk about tonight, including the AtGames Attack From Mars 4K pinball machine. Our reactions to this. Michael B says Arcade1Up is having some big sales. I don't believe him, but the truth will be in the pudding. Quarter arcades have arrived for some folks. We want to talk a little bit about.
Sorry, guys.
I'm choking on my own oxygen. E3, we got E3 is dead. Quick reaction to that.
And buried.
Yeah. So we got a few things we want to talk about tonight. Should be a fun little show as we get ready for the holiday. Pliskin Run says the loft looks good. Well, I'm in the office right now, but hopefully you're talking about the loft tour I did a week or two ago. And it's still clean. Guys, when you get organized and create shelving and storage for all your video games and arcade crap, and then you commit yourself to actually using those, like when I'm done with something, I put it back away where it's supposed to go. Oh my God, it's still clean. It's still clean. I give it about 2 more weeks before it's trashed again, but it's still clean. Um, Restalgia, what are your thoughts about E3? Let's just get E3 out of the way real quick. What are your thoughts about E3 going the way of the dodo bird? How do you feel about that, man? Did you ever attend one of those? I never attended an E3. Did anyone attend an E3? Let us know in the live chat. Restalgia, what do you think about this?
I've never been to an E3. I've wanted to go to E3 for a very long time. I would say maybe 10 years ago when it was like really booming and all the big players actually showed up and did presentations and things like that. It was like I really wanted to go from high school into like college years. But honestly, it's kind of it's sad and it's disappointing, but it was inevitable, right? Like as soon as Nintendo, I think they were the first big company to bow out, and they said, "We're not doing this. We'll do our own announcements. We'll do Nintendo Directs, and that'll be that." And it just wasn't that long before Sony and Microsoft and pretty much everybody decided that they could create their own audience with social media, and it's unfortunate, but I think it was, like I said, inevitable.
Well, I think the pandemic obviously hastened things with it because pandemic that shut down for a couple of years really killed it off. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, once Nintendo pulled out, some of the other major players, it kind of went away. It's a real shame too. Like it was such a big part of my life. I remember watching E3 all the way back to where Sony made the big announcement, came up after Sega and said $299. And Dale go down in infamy. But like I remember watching it through reviews on the run here in Canada, watching the coverage like all week long on G4 Tech TV. Like it was always so exciting, and it was always a dream of mine to go. And now I just won't get the opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, I always wanted to go. I just never made the time for the trip. There's so many other vacations and things that I did that E3 never was high up on the list. Like I must go to E3. You know, the other one that I've always wanted to go to is the original, biggest and best San Diego Comic-Con. I've been to so many Comic-Cons and pop culture conventions, but I've never been to the Mecca that is San Diego Comic-Con. And I should go one day before I die. It just looks so frustrating with how many people go to that event. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you ever heard about this thing that's happening up in Canada? Apparently it's huge. This thing called Fan Expo Canada. I've never heard of it before. Like I've never seen quality coverage, at least on it.
I see what you're doing, Mike. I'm not going to play into it. Shenanigans.
Well, Restalgia, you actually like going to the pop culture convention, and you like taking pictures of all the people in their cosplays.
Mostly the dudes. They've got wicked, awesome costumes. So yeah,
too much metal on, man. Take it off.
Oh man, yeah, Comic Cons are still a blast. I still love going. Anyway, so E3 going the way of the dodo bird. Doesn't seem like we had a big reaction to that in our live chat. So
I think most people are just over it at this point. Yeah. Like it has really become a relic right now, with the groups hosting their own events and like basically whenever they feel like it. I mean, there's no big point anymore. Like E3 only served the purpose of being a launching pad for the big announcements for these companies. So if people aren't waiting for these announcements, well, what's the event for? Then you've also got the rise of the Game Awards, and I mean, most of the indie developers or anybody else that would actually save their stuff for E3, they're making their announcements there. So it's just really unfortunate. It just became needless, basically.
Yeah. Speaking of needless, CES is next month. Is anyone in the live chat going to CES in Las Vegas next month? Let us know. We know a couple of our friends, B Kong and I think Justin, are going. Console Kits. I'm not going because we found out that the week of E3 is the same week my family's pulling a Restalgia. There's a big family reunion down in Alabama. So my wife and son and all them are
Boomer
heading,
sooner.
they're heading down to Alabama to go party on the Alabama beaches the week of CES. I'm going to stay home with the dogs so we don't have to board up. Guys, we have 3 dogs. Boarding 3 dogs is expensive. It's a pain in the ass. So I'd rather stay home with the dogs, you know what I mean? Versus a family reunion with the in-laws. So I'll be home just doing my own thing, all that stuff. We got people saying no CES. Yeah, Carl's out with his family. It's the holiday. You never know. They expect one of us to be off the next couple of weeks. Restalgia, you going to go to CES? When are we going to get you in the country, baby?
I don't know. I'm going to have to wipe my criminal record before I can get across the border, I think. I think that's the challenge. No, I'm not going to CES. That is one I do want to go to. And I know there's a few people in the chat that said, like, it's not going to be too long before CES goes away. I actually don't know that I entirely agree with that, just because CES, they showcase a lot of different type of technology. And a lot of it is, like, you got to see it in person. Like, a lot of those AI robots and the new like monitors that they've got and screen displays and like all the craziness that they've got going on. I think that's going to stick around for at least a little bit until we can get into like some sort of virtual reality world in 20 years where everyone throws a pair of goggles on and is pretty much wherever they want to be. I think it'll exist.
Real quick, guys, I put a poll in the live chat because Corner Cage says we're down a man and he's ready to step in and see if he can fill the shoes of Detroit Love. Those are big shoes to fill. The man may only be 5'6", but he's got some big shoes to fill on this broadcast. And the live chat voted 53% no. Sorry, Danny. You're not coming on the show tonight, but we tried.
It was close. Just as you said no, it started shifting. Now it's 51%.
Nope, it's over. It's over. Thank God we got Mike's keyboard to tell the time tonight.
Yeah.
We love you, Mike. All right. But in other news, will Mrs. Cornercade, is it okay if Mrs. Cornercade could come on the show? You guys voted no for Danny. What about Katie? Should we let Katie on the show? Let us know in the live chat.
That is terrible, P-dubs.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, no, we're not gatekeeping. We put it up to the live chat. They voted no, unless you're calling your fellow gentlemen in the live chat.
I'm a gatekeeper. Maybe you're not P-dubs, but I'm certainly a gatekeeper.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about some video game stuff here. So, you guys. So, what's really nice? I explained this last week, but there's a lot of really weird conspiracy theorists and drama people out there. So, once again, to be clear, we invited Numskull to come on our show. They came on our show and they had a really good time. They really enjoyed it. In fact, it was one of our best shows. I really enjoyed our interview with Numskull, with Ben. Our interview with Shiloh from New Wave Toys was incredible. That was one of my favorite. I've watched that episode on replay multiple times. Shiloh is so entertaining. And anyway, so because Ben had such a good time, I mean, we didn't ask him beforehand, but after the show was over, he told us privately, he said, I had a really good time. I'd like to say thank you. We'll send each of you a quarter arcade as a thank you. There's no secret conspiracy, anything. So we said, okay, I got my Space Invaders, posted a review for it, but you gentlemen got your TMNTs and you guys kind of wanted to show them off. I figured we could kind of start with Restalgia here in the corner because I know Mike put a video out today. But Restalgia, show me what you're working with there, man. Bring that baby over.
All right, so I think I'm the only person within our little Super Game Room dudes that went with the Turtles in Time cabinet. So this is her. She's a beaut. She's really big.
Oh yeah,
really big, like massive. And I don't hear that very often. So,
can you hold it to the side so I can see the side artwork? And Mike, is that the same artwork that Arcade1Up put on their Turtles in Time? I don't even remember.
Oh yeah, with the giant heads. Everybody was complaining about it. Yeah.
Yeah, same artwork. Okay. But why does it look cooler on this one?
Maybe it's the original form factor. I don't know.
Maybe because it's not stretched out.
Yeah.
So large.
This is a thick boy. So It's actually quite nice. I haven't finished my review for it. I did like script it all up, and I've done a bunch of testing and play testing and stuff like that, and spent a
Nice.
bunch of time with it today. So that's why it's out of the box. Um, Honestly, it's really good. It's like really really good. The only thing that like catches me off guard is just how freaking massive it is. It's just like a big item.
Yeah.
But everything
Yeah.
about it, like they put in these like little, it's like a little push to open up your coin door area. I love that. Instead of like fussing with it trying to pop it out, you just like click it and there you go. There's your USB ports. Just all in all, it's quite good. They did end up doing the orange buttons and joystick for Michelangelo, which is good instead of having yellow. So yeah, overall, great little cabinet. I think I think she's a beaut.
Yeah. Very cool. Does it come with 4 controllers or does it come with any?
Doesn't come with any controllers. You just get the 4, obviously, on the control deck. And the other thing that was interesting is that if you plug in a USB controller, you are bound by Leonardo's position. So it doesn't matter where you plug it in, you're still stuck playing Leonardo's position. And the only way to actually play a different turtle with a different controller is actually plugging in multiple controllers. So if you want to
wow,
play,
I didn't know that.
yeah, if you want to play Michelangelo, you got to plug in 2 USB controllers to then be able to control Michelangelo.
That's ridiculous. You would assume it's just plug it into the USB slot that aligns with.
Yeah, and I mean, I do talk about that, and that could be something that they fix with a firmware update if they wanted to. All they got to do is identify each one of the USB ports as a COM port, and then hard program that COM port specifically to one of the controllers. So,
Garage Gamer, how's the online play? Well, it plays better than you at Pinball FX. You got to check the leaderboards on Steam there, Garage Gamer. Last time I checked, you're in my rearview mirror on several tables, buddy. Me and him have a little friendly competition going on. How does it play, the lag and stuff? That's actually a really good question by Fenshiro.
I'm getting absolutely no input lag whatsoever. It plays quite well. I prefer to play it with a controller. There's nothing wrong with the joysticks. You can play through the game 100% with the little control deck, but it's just not the most comfortable. So I preferred plugging in my Xbox controller and just playing through, but it's super good. There's no input delay. There's no screen tearing. There's no emulation issues. It plays as well as you would ever expect it to.
It's the original ROM. Like
yes.
both.
Yeah. How much are they selling that one for? Because I know Space Invaders is like $300, which is like what an Arcade1Up used to cost.
$299.
$299. That's right. I thought there was a place where you get it for $300.
Wow.
Wasn't it?
You know, New Wave Toys comes in at like $170, but what 100, like anywhere from, it depends on the unit. It could be anywhere from like 140 to like 170, but they always do the pre-sales where they knock $20 off. Plus, if you're on their email list, which everyone needs to sign up on their email list, you get a bonus like $25 off coupon. So anytime I've bought a New Wave Toys one that I paid for out of pocket, I always ended up only paying like 120, 125 with all the discounts they give you when you pre-order. So I'm happy to see Numskull still doing what they're doing. They're still in business. I understand completely. They said, hey, we got to raise our prices. And their customers said, we will pay more to keep the same quality. Please don't switch to plastic. It's expensive, man, but they're beautiful. Like that Space Invaders I did a review on is gorgeous, man. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, you got Turtles in Time. Mike, you got the regular TMNT. And I got the blue Space Invaders, and Detroit Love got the red Space Invaders. So it's kind of funny we all got a different one. Mike, you posted your TMNT review today, but I didn't get a chance to watch it because you posted it like about an hour ago. So can you kind of give me some thoughts, and do you have yours with you?
No, I apologize, P-Dubs. Right before the show, my son started throwing up everywhere,
so
I barely made it.
Oh, no.
My daughter was sick on Wednesday, and we were hoping it was an isolated incident, but whatever she had now seems to be passed on to Tommy. So can't wait for my turn.
And you know what stinks, Mike, is, you know, they go to school, like preschool and school and stuff like that. It's just a cesspool of disease at 100%. These schools. I'm so happy my son has grown and he doesn't come home with You know, because we used to be sick all the time too, because he'd bring stuff home from all the kids at school, man. Here, I'm going to pull up your video then, since you don't have it in front of you. And if you don't mind just giving us your thoughts, and did you have any issues with it or anything?
Yeah, I did. Restalgia knows I reached out to him last night. So when you turn on the cab initially, it has a preset CRT filter. So the CRT filter, it's not great, but one of the things I noticed was I had two black lines going across the bottom of the screen. And usually that's an indication that there's some kind of issue or a damaged LCD panel. But luckily enough, Restalgia gave me some good advice. I was going to do it anyways. So I turned off the CRT filter, and that knocked out the two black lines. So my advice is anybody who picks up this cab, don't use the CRT filter. It's not very good. On top of that, before I even really opened my cab, I got some feedback from some people in the community. Kamla reached out to me, and he was a little concerned about the artwork, because if you take a look on the side art, you'll notice Michelangelo is wearing like orange wraps for his bandana and his other wraps. They made a mistake in the original arcade, and Michelangelo actually had yellow wraps on, like he does on the marquee. The marquee is accurate. So this is actually a modified marquee. I also saw on Facebook too, the side art's been slightly modified. April had a wedding ring on in the original picture.
Mike, there's something else right in this image. Do you see it?
The toes.
The toes.
Yeah,
what's
everybody.
What's this right here?
Yeah, the toes. Everybody's been. My guess is this is artwork maybe from the Arcade1Up one, and Michelangelo was further over to accommodate the Arcade1Up shape.
Go ahead. I just find it funny.
So April's supposed to have a wedding ring on, so it's the original art, but it's modified, unfortunately, and there is some mistakes on it. So people have been pretty brutal in the comments about those two things there: the toes, not wearing the yellow, and April's wedding ring. But outside of that, like everything else with the cabinet's amazing. Restalgia, everything Restalgia said is 100% true. Like it plays like a dream. Emulation's perfect. Sound is perfect. It has the proper like heroes in the half shell, turtle power.
The real song.
Yeah, the real song.
Oh, nice.
I'm having a bunch of fun with it. The only other thing I would be a little bit critical of, but it's not really that big a deal, is battery life is somewhere between 2 and 3 hours. It's only a 45-minute game, so I don't know if that's a big deal or not. And you can play while it's plugged in.
You can beat it twice, Mike. Before it dies on you.
Yeah.
I love the control panel, though. I think that looks really cool.
Oh, it looks stunning.
Like, for me, it was going to be this one. When Ben mentioned it, as cool as that Space Invader is, Space Invaders is, like, and that is really, really cool. That's a technical marvel.
But, like, why is your pinky so far away from the rest of your hand?
That's how I play.
He's got his little pinky up,
that's
like he's drinking a cup of tea.
There's control sticks there, guys. I'm trying to avoid the control stick.
Michael B with the pinky. Oh, we're putting this on the next thumbnail. Pinky's up.
There's a control stick right there I'm trying to avoid.
Oh, I love it.
Anyways, this is the game that brought me to the arcades. When this came out in '89, I was a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. The idea this was in the arcades is what brought me in and started my interest in arcades in the first place. I had never really gone before this game came out, so this was the one I was going to get. It's really cool. The other thing I'll say, I was shocked at how big the screen was. Like, I've had quarter arcades before, and I didn't think the screen was that big.
6 inches, man.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything that was as big as 6 inches before.
You haven't seen anything half as big.
Not even a quarter. Not even a quarter. That's wild.
Restalgia, why don't you take care of this wonderful super chat here while I pull up the next thing?
Awesome. From Ezekiel Chicago Retro Ranger, $4.99 US. Thank you, sir. What's up, my dudes? Love the hat, Restalgia, and love the Batman on the ALU. Currently looking for that cab or PCB. I think, honestly, the Batman looks badass on camera when you have it. That's why I set it up, because it just looks good. And the hat looks really good, particularly on me. P-Dubs has the same hat, and it looks like shit on him. But it looks great on me. So I appreciate you noticing, buddy.
I do have the same hat. It's part of my Restal Dubs costume. I have your hoodie, your hat, It's when I pretend to be Restalgia. It's probably one of my favorite cosplay costumes.
It's one of
I
my
think
favorite too.
I think at the next video game convention we go to, if you're not there, I'm going as Restalgia to represent you.
Okay.
I have an update about the Numskull Space Invaders cabinet. Hopefully, I don't know if they've made this a public announcement yet or
Uh-oh.
not. So if this is a repeat, my apologies if someone else has already said this, but I actually just found out yesterday afternoon. I got a message from Numskull. They caught my review that I have rolling here for their cabinet, and really the one piece of critical feedback I had for it is this is a nice size arcade replica with terrible sound. I mean, the sound is so quiet on here, even at max volume. It sounds like it's whispering at you, which is so funny because remember
Really?
the original Arcade1Up Space Invaders was so loud. You guys remember that?
Well,
The way
maybe that's why they did it. They're overcompensating for the Arcade1Up
Yeah.
release.
And so the audio is really, really low on here. Now, what's interesting is I heard from Darren, who's like Ben's, I guess he's like Ben's number 2 or 3, something like that. Darren over at Numskull messaged me and said, "Hey, just so you know, we plan on doing a firmware update that will improve the sound. They actually think they can fix it via a firmware update, which obviously you have to plug in like a USB stick or whatever with the firmware, and that'll fix the sound issues. So hopefully that'll get released soon. They said it's going through quality control and testing. So I'm happy to hear that for the cost of the product that they're going to stand by it and try and give people a better audio experience. Because if you guys have it out there, like you can't hear the thump, thump, thump of the Space Invaders. You can hear the missile firing, but you can't like hear the that sound when like the invaders are coming. Like you can't hear it. Um,
It looks
so
so good though. Like that
I know,
screen, they did such a good job with
yeah.
it.
And I was so happy too because a lot of times when I use my cameras and I point them at these micro arcades, a lot of times, like I had to increase the audio level on my video file 20 decibels in order for people to hear it during the review. And I told people, like, I'm going to play the game, but I'm going to crank up the volume so you could actually hear what's happening. But what was I telling you? Oh, yeah. My cameras usually have a hard time picking up these machines. So it was nice that my camera really captured this really well. I mean, it looks so good, man. It
Mhm.
looks beautiful. Very happy with it. So hopefully they'll fix it. And Garage Gamer made an excellent point. There is never a perfect product. There's always an opportunity for improvement. That is absolutely true. I don't have the red cab, Mitch, so I don't know. We'll have to ask Carl when he comes back, but it's definitely on the blue cab. There you go. It's 1/8 scale sound. Paul Minderman coming in with the jokes in the live chat. There you go. So between them finally releasing these products, coupled with all the new cab announcements they made, Numskull should have an interesting year next year. They got a whole bunch of games coming out. They
Mhm.
announced Lunar Lander, Bad Dudes, Burger Time. They
Yep.
announced a bunch of stuff. So they should have an interesting year. What are we sharing here, Michael B? You want me to put this on the screen?
Yes, I've got some toy news to share if you haven't seen it already. So, for those of us that love the real Ghostbuster toy re-releases from a couple of years ago, with the new movie coming out, the real Ghostbusters are going to be coming back with the Fright Features figures. P-Dubs, are you going to be picking these up?
Probably not.
Oh, too cool for school, P-Dubs
Probably
is.
no. It's just I'm kind of inundated with action figures. I got piles of them that because of you, I just bought the whole Dungeons and Dragons 40th anniversary cartoon series.
Yeah, I got those too.
I got all 8
Oh, don't say that.
figures
Garage
now.
Gamer will freak out. He's like, the joints are busted. The joints are busted.
Well, mine are for display only. I don't actually like sit on the floor and play with them like Cool Toy. Like
That's what I said
mine are
too.
for
I was like, I don't think I'm going to do a lot of playing with these.
Oh, that's very funny, Mike. That's very, very funny. So, all right, my dudes, what's next on the docket? You want to chat a little bit about these Arcade1Up things? What's going on here?
Sure, pal.
All right. Tell me all about it, baby.
Arcade1Up had some pretty good sales this past week. Well, relative. I mean, most people are like, I don't want to buy an Arcade1Up unless it's $50.
That's a good
So
sale
for those
price, though.
people,
That's a good deal.
For those people, the sales probably weren't very good. But we saw Fast and the Furious, which last Friday dropped down to $3.99 and then disappeared over the weekend, was apparently sold out. Come back on sale this past Monday for $3.99 again, and it was also $4.25 at Walmart. So people have been picking up Fast and the Furious like crazy. I've seen posts with people getting two arrive. One person said he bought all 4, so people seem to be enjoying that price. Then we got another deep discount on the Street Fighter 2 Deluxe cabinet, dropped all the way down to $2.99 this past week. So I'd be interested to see who here in the chat either picked up Fast and the Furious or Street Fighter 2 Deluxe.
$2.99 is a good price. I don't care what anyone says. That's a good price.
$2.99 for the Street Fighter Deluxe, the Dynamo thing.
Yeah.
What I like about that arcade is 19K Fox and I agree that that's like a good cab to use as a base for modding. Because you guys remember, it was the original Street Fighter 2 Arcade1Up was the perfect cabinet to mod because you had the 12 buttons, right? Into a multicade, and then it was the Marvel Superheroes cabinet, the blue one, right? And then after that, the prices went through the roof, and you know, I don't know which one you would say was the perfect modding base after Marvel Superheroes. I mean, probably you could say Killer Instinct. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of people mod those, but yeah.
So update on the Fast and Furious. I saw this going around the fan pages earlier. Apparently, Best Buy are actually sold out at this point, and they're basically doing back orders. So people can still do the $3.99. They'll honor the price, but they don't know if they're going to need more in. And from what I've heard, like one of the reasons we don't have Fast and the Furious here in Canada, it was a limited build. So I don't think they're making anymore. So yeah, I wouldn't rush to Best Buy to try to get that $3.99 price point because they ain't got no more cabs, and I don't think any more cabs are coming. So you might want to do like what Biggie D did, head on over to Walmart and pick it up for $4.25 because you'll actually get it if you do that.
Sorry, as you can imagine, my family's coming home. They're coming in the house right now, so the dogs are going nuts. Sorry about that.
That's okay, man.
Yeah, in my opinion, $2.99 for what is that? Street Fighter 2. That's a good deal. That's a good deal. Whether you want the arcade just to play on it, or if you want to use it as a base for modding project, I think it's okay. Like, pretty good deal. Oh my Jesus! All right, continue on, Mike. I'm just going to mute my microphone. Take over.
So I see a lot of people here in the chat say they got Fast and Furious, but I do notice a lot of people saying if I didn't have Big Blue or if I didn't have Yoga Flame. So I think it's one of those issues where people are like, oh, so cool, but I already have 9 Street Fighters. So,
well, Simpsons, they've put that Simpsons cabinet on sale like a number of times, haven't they? At $3.99. That's pretty. Yeah. That's par for the course.
Well, it's like Blitz. I think that the last couple of years they really bet heavily on a certain cabs. Yeah. I think Simpsons is one. They really banked that was going to be a huge seller for them, and I think it didn't meet expectations. I know here in Canada they clearanced it out at $3.99 last Christmas. So, Mystery Encoder picked up Fast and the Furious during all this. Blitz was another one. I mean, Blitz immediately went on sale, clearance sales at like Sam's Club, and and they made a lot of those. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that worked out so well. Thumper Squid is saying Tron is on sale. Tron's a great cab. I don't know what the sale is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I think these are. It's a good chance for you to pick one up if you're actually like interested in it. Just get yourself a little bit of a discount. And
this is my favorite question that always comes up. Brand new cab, will it go any lower? If it ends up at Sam's Club or Ollie's in the clearance bin, possibly. But at Best Buy and Walmart, probably not.
Yep.
Yeah, in my opinion, guys, if you have access to an Ollie's and you're interested in an Arcade1Up product, go there first because they have the best, cheapest prices, especially on some.
Yeah, I think like Blitz is like $2.99 at Ollie's right now. Has been for a while.
Yeah, make sure you do that versus spending $500 somewhere else.
Meanwhile, here in Canada, I saw some pictures from our Facebook page today. They're trying to blow out the Turtles in Time cabs through the brick here in Canada, and they're selling them for $5.98. They're like, big deal, and I'm like, not really.
So apparently Tron is on sale at Best Buy for $5.99. So yeah, I guess that's a deal. But how much is it normally, Tron?
I think it was $6.99 when it originally came out.
Is that how much I paid for that thing?
Yeah, it was crazy.
I don't even remember. Wait, no, I bought mine when there was a sale. There was a sale. I paid a lot less. I can't remember what I paid. It's on my review video. I can't remember what I said or how much I paid.
I paid $7.99 here in Canada for my Tron.
Oh, $7.99. Yeah. Good Lord.
Yeah.
It's only like $300 US.
Yeah. Look at Bono's Tecmo. He got the Galaga countercade for $79 and traded it for a bucket of KFC. Oh man, the Galaga countercade, that was a fun one. Oh, that's what I did. Thanks so much, Zero Cool. Dell had a special, and it was $399 through Dell. I remember that.
No. You didn't get that deal.
I got that deal.
No, you didn't. You bought your Tron before that.
No, this is when I got it.
Nope.
It's on my video. I don't even remember. I bought so many of these damn things. You can't even remember how much you paid for them. I'm pretty sure Zero Cool is correct.
No, well, it'll be interesting to go back and look afterwards.
Yeah, we'll have to check. It's on my video. Bucket of KFC's $80 nowadays. That's so true. Like if you go to KFC and you order like their family dinner, it's like $60-$70. You know what I mean? You're better off going to your local grocery store, your Fry's, your Jewel's, your Albertsons, whatever, where they have like the fresh, where they actually make food there. Go buy some chicken there for $15 and then just go to KFC and buy your sides. Don't buy the chicken. Don't buy the chicken. All right. Well, Mike, do you remember what it was? I got it as some deal. I'm sure it was the Dell thing.
Maybe I'm confused. I remember someone else bought the Dell one.
I got the Dell one.
I thought you had already had it.
No, I got the Dell one. That's when I got it. That's the only reason why I bought it, because it was so cheap through Dell. I remember now. But hey, man, if our good buddy Biggie D finally bought an Arcade1Up, that's a good deal. He got what? The Fast and the Furious, he was telling everybody. So
yeah, he was pretty excited about it. Yeah. And I talked to him, I think it was like after last Friday's show. He had originally missed out on the Best Buy $3.99 sale. And he wrote me and said he got one from Walmart for $4.25. I mean, it's a great deal. Everybody seems to really enjoy the cab, except for 19K Fox, who is a known Fast and the Furious hater, but everybody who buys it seems to really like it.
Chris got it for $400 on Amazon. I think he's talking about Tron a while back.
I miss my Tron.
No, I'm not saying Biggie teased you. I'm just saying he will not pull the trigger until he thinks it's the lowest possible price it'll go. And if he finally pulled the trigger, he doesn't think it's going any lower. So there you go. What's this? Well, we'll talk about this during AtGames. Is it true that the 4K weighs 128 pounds? The larger box weighs 84 pounds by itself? I don't know off the top of my head, JJ. Restalgia, do you know about the 4K pinball?
I don't know. I don't know how anyone would know that. Did they advertise that?
I don't know. I have no clue. All I know is this machine is going to be bigger than the one that's back there. So it'll be a little bit taller stuff. So be nice to see them side by side. Even with the buy stuff back box I put on, I'm very curious to see what they look like side by side.
Well, it makes sense.
Whenever that Addams Family comes.
It makes sense if it's heavier. I mean, all those extra pixels in that screen are going to weigh that thing down like crazy. So,
anything else going on in the world of the Arcade1Up, Michael B, that I don't know about?
No, I don't expect we're going to hear anything until a couple days into January, where we finally find out what their new lineup is.
Oh, I heard
their new lineup of Mortal Kombat, Pac-Man, Class of '81, and a new Infinity game table.
I really don't do prediction videos, but if I had to guess, that's all you're going to see at CES is just more legacy cabs. If I had
Well,
to guess.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful they're going to do more XLs. I'm hopeful they hear, the staunch part of the audience that are asking for more XLs. We're not saying don't do deluxe cabs. I hope people get deluxe cabs too. But I mean, like, if they only do one XL cab next year, I mean, that's going to be a pretty sad year. You're going to get a lot of angry fans.
So, I noticed with XLs, like I like XLs, I like the form factor and stuff. But then again, I've seen a lot of feedback lately, and it seems like feedback rising in favor of people saying they want to go. It's kind of funny, rising in favor of risers. They want to go back to the risers. They don't want to have the bigger cabs that take up more space. So I'm just gonna put this in the live chat real quick. Do you guys want XLs or do you guys want the 3/4 with the risers? Do me a favor, guys. Vote right now in the chat. Vote quickly because I don't like leaving these votes open or these polls open for a long time. You guys know me. But I'm very curious what this live chat thinks about XLs versus the 3/4. I'm okay with XLs. I'd prefer XLs, but if they come out with one that's 3/4, but it looks good and it plays well, I mean, I'd be okay with it. So I'm not going to completely shit on it. So there you go. Restalgia, I know you don't have any Arcade1Ups right now, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
But if you did buy one, would an
Yeah.
XL excite you more, or would just a 3/4 on a riser? But it's let's just say it by some miracle it's good. Everything's good. The artwork looks good. The shape looks good. The game plays well. Let's just say that. What would you prefer?
I think I would prefer an XL. I think if I'm going for something that size anyways, I think I'd want it to be as XL as it can be. That's my perspective, I think.
And Michael, be your team XL all the way, right, baby? Looking behind
Oh,
you.
yeah. Yeah. I'm waiting for more XLs. Maybe I'll even build my arcade back up if they make more.
Game Room Guru gave us $5 super chat. He says, Merry Christmas, dudes. Just changed Fast and Furious from Best Buy to Walmart. When will Casino Cade hit $3.99? How much is the Casino Cade right now? It's $4.99.
Yeah, I think it went down to $4.99. I don't know if it'll go down to $3.99. Maybe it will.
Yeah. So what's interesting is I published my review for the Wheel of Fortune Casino Cade that they sent me, and whatchamacallit, I heard from Arcade1Up, and they said that they actually put in the update now where you could play with the Wi-Fi turned off. Like, you're going to want to connect it to the internet when you get it out of the box. You need to download the day one firmware.
Tommy threw up. Gotta go, guys.
All right.
Tommy threw up again.
Right.
See ya.
Like, you need to download the day one firmware update, get all the, everything's running well, and download your games and things like that. But when it comes to the after that, like, you can play offline now. So that was nice to hear that they came through with a promised fix. Because, man, sometimes with Arcade1Up, I mean, we've been covering this space for years, Restalgia. They'll tell you they're going to fix something, and either A, it doesn't happen, or B, 6 months, 12 months, 12 months later, it's a long time, man. It's a long time to wait for a fix.
Mm-hmm. So. It's also often surprising that they don't know about the issues beforehand. Like, a lot of that stuff, you would think if they actually play tested their stuff, they would have seen some of those issues, but they didn't. And it's very lagging. But they don't really have like a development studio, right? Like, everything's third party. Everything is just outsourced. So
that's what I hear.
Kind of get slammed. So
yeah, that's what I hear. It's all third party. So let's see here. Let's end the poll. Restalgia, check this out. This live chat voted right now. Just this small sample size of consumers voted that. Hey, where did it go? Oh, there it goes. XL 64%, 3/4 scale with risers only 35%. So sounds like the community's leaning XL.
At least our small community that's watching the show, but
our small sample size of consumers.
Yeah, that's right. I can't. I'd need to hear somebody's argument as to why they would prefer a 3/4 with a riser versus an XL. Like, the XLs,
There's
They
one
don't
right
take
here
up.
from one of our favorites, Chris Zeke. Him and Nikki have like one of the best game rooms in the community, and that's his. The XLs take up too much room.
But how much extra space do they really take up? Like you're talking, they're certainly vertically. They take up more space vertically,
Well, they're a
and
little
but
bit
they're only a
wider
couple
too.
inches wider, right? It's only
Yeah,
like 1 or
but
2 inches.
that 1 or 2 inches add up.
This is a lot. Yeah, I know. I know 1 or 2 inches is a lot. P-dubs. It's huge if you ask me. But
1 or 2 inches could make all the difference,
it's
Restalgia,
true.
when it comes to fitting things together, like arcades.
That's fair. You know what? I never really
Oh
considered
man,
how big 2
we're
inches was,
such
but it's
children.
massive. So
we are such children. We're such. While we're waiting for Michael B to come back, oh, look at all the "that's what she said" jokes. It's like that joke is going to be around for like 50, 60 years. People are still going to be using that joke. Do you guys remember, how many of you are 90s kids like me? Back in the 90s, you would always tell someone something that isn't true. And when they would say, really, you would say, not. You remember
yeah.
when not was a thing?
hmm
So Restalgia would be like, I don't work for AtGames. Not.
Oh, smooth. I like that one. That was good.
You see the double negative?
I got it. I got it. It's genius.
Man, not. I can't believe not was a thing. Not. Like,
That was like back. When was that? That would have been like mid 90s.
yeah. I took
Mid-90s.
first place in the race at school. You did? Not.
Yeah, that was pretty lame.
Oh, JR wins the live chat. He doesn't remember that. Not. Wayne's World. Oh, I think they use not in Wayne's World.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Wayne's World had who? Howie Mandel? Is that a Howie Mandel?
I think so.
Wayne's World?
I think so. Yeah. Deluxe
not
over
seen that.
3/4. Deadly McMahon. I've seen, don't have enough benefits for me. I don't really care about the size because it's nominal in his eyes.
I agree.
Yeah. Party time. Excellent. Oh man, you gotta love Wayne's World. Especially the first one. The second one really wasn't that good. It was funny, but the first one is just great. It's just great. All right, so we should talk a little bit about AtGames stuff. Oh, by the way, guys, just a heads up. Did any of you buy Barrels of Fun pinball machine Labyrinth?
Labyrinth. Ooh, I heard some stuff about that. P-dubs, what's going on with Labyrinth?
So just a real quick tidbit news nugget of information. Here's your Labyrinth pinball machine here. So if you pre-ordered a Labyrinth, they are starting to ship as of December 21st to customers who put in pre-orders. A lot of the units that have gone out already, just like typical pinball, they send them to the pinball places, arcades and stuff. They kind of get them first, and then the general consumers end up getting theirs. So Labyrinth is shipping to customers as of December 21st. So talk about a Christmas present for yourself, but not for your wallet when they send you that invoice for $10,000 the week before Christmas. They could have waited until after the first, right?
That's true. Well, they got their own Christmas presents to buy, P-dubs. Let's not judge.
Did anybody get a Labyrinth? Let us know.
I remember you were so excited about this. Did you end up getting one? Did you want, like,
I can't comment on things that don't involve me. Thumper Squid said no toppers on them. They sell a topper separate, and it's probably one of the most incredible things you've ever seen. Their topper for Labyrinth is incredible. So yeah, $10,000 2 weeks before Christmas. Pay your invoice so we can ship you your pinball machine. I found that very, 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 very interesting. All right, I got to pull up something here for AtGames, but what's going on with this 4K pinball machine, Restalgia? What's going on with that?
Well, we got another reveal for some additional artwork packages that's going to be launched, and this one is actually, I think it's the best announcement that they've done, and I actually think it's the best IP, at least in my opinion, right now. And I think they handled this one really, really, really well. So we got a big announcement. When was this? On Wednesday, Tuesday, sometime earlier in the week, that AtGames is going to be doing an Attack from Mars machine. And it is arcade accurate to the artwork,
Mm-hmm.
And it looks pretty badass. Like, it really looks badass. So, yeah.
What makes it so badass?
Yeah, it just looks good. It looks good. This, I don't know if you remember this, when Arcade1Up was releasing their 3 pinball machines. I got all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted Attack from Mars so bad. That was the one I wanted. I didn't really care as much about Star Wars. I didn't care as much about the Marvel machine. But Attack from Mars was just like, I wanted it because it represented an original pinball machine. It had supposedly had the pinball machine authentic artwork that was on there. It was supposed to play really well, but as we all learned, the Arcade1Up pinballs kind of sucked. And it was a huge letdown because everything about that machine that could have been amazing, but it was not. And it looks like AtGames is going to pick up kind of the pieces on that one. And it seems like they're going to do it right. We got a 4K screen, 60 frames per second. We're getting Pinball FX. The artwork, I hope it's clean. I hope they don't have the same issues with the artwork where it's pixelated and it doesn't look very good. Everything about the AtGames machine is just better than the Arcade1Up machines in the sense of just processing power, the build quality, the size of it. I mean, there's just a huge list of things. So I genuinely think that this is going to be good. And not that any of the other announcements were bad. I just, for some reason, the Attack from Mars kind of it talks to me, man. It talks to me.
Well, it's nice to see them go with an original, like, real pinball game, right? And mimic the original artwork as closely as they could. There's a few variants between this artwork and the real artwork, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. And let's take a look right here. I put a poll in the live chat, guys. Do me a favor, answer that poll and answer it quickly. Out of all the themes that have come out so far, which one is your favorite? Attack from Mars, the Adams Family, Star Trek. I put the Kelvin debacle because I'm just joking around. And Peanuts. So waiting to see what people say in the live chat. We're not even going to count Dinosaur Dynasty. I don't know. Restalgia, do you think anyone bought Dinosaur Dynasty?
I have no idea, man. It's possible. There's some people who may have bought it because their kids like dinosaurs or something.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's their weakest artwork package that they put out for sure. It's one that I don't want to say it's a head scratcher, but it's interesting when you're throwing something like that up against Star Trek, even what the type of Star Trek and the version of Star Trek that they went with. It doesn't really, it's not on the same level in terms of, like, I don't know, awe factor. So yeah, this one looks good, man. Everything about it. I like what they're doing with the speaker grills. I like how they're just like adding a little bit of like an accent piece to all of that.
Yeah.
It all looks good to me.
Yeah, I did a deep dive on the artwork. I did a live stream. I was testing my other camera that I now have in the loft for whenever I'm filming in the loft, and I just hopped on live. Just, hey guys, I'm going to see how it looks. Tell me what you think, the viewers. It was an impromptu stream that I ended up deleting, but says, is there anything you guys want to talk about real quick? And they said Attack from Mars. So I was like, okay, let's look at it. And the only thing we noticed is compared to the original real Attack from Mars pinball machine, you're missing the alien guy here. But all you could see from him was you had his head sticking up and then his 2 hands sticking up.
Yes.
So the fact that they took that off, not the end of the world, in my opinion, right? And then on the back box, you actually get more of the original back box on this one than you did with the Arcade1Up. Arcade1Up cut off like right here.
Yep.
And you could see like the guy's brain on the Arcade1Up, but because their side panel was so small, they couldn't fit the alien in. But they actually got the second alien in with the scary face, which I love.
Yep.
Now on the original back box, because keep in mind, these aren't 1-to-1 with real pinball machines. The original back box is a little bit bigger still, and you could actually see this guy's chest, which who cares? But minus those 2 variants, everything else is a near perfect match to the original pinball machine. So in my opinion, I think they did a fantastic job. This is beautiful. If I didn't have Adams Family coming, this one would have tempted me to pull the trigger for sure.
Yep.
I think if anyone gets this one, they're probably going to be very happy with it.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
And what I like is that AtGames, they actually released something that people have been crying for since they started with their machines. Since they started with the original Legends Ultimate, and then there was toying about skins and graphics and side panels you can buy that you could attach to the 1.1, and the pinball artwork and all that stuff that was going on. Everyone said recreate an original machine. Recreate an original machine. That's what people have been yelling. Recreate an original machine. And honestly, I'm kind of happy that they waited. I don't think a Gottlieb based artwork package for pinball would have been as well received as the Attack from Mars is, because it's a great title. It's a great game.
Yeah.
It's gonna hopefully play really well. And I think it's got like a lot of mass appeal. A lot of people are interested in it. So well done from them.
Yeah, yeah. And they went on the defensive, I noticed this week at Games a little bit. There was some social media hubbub where people were saying that their machines were delayed, and if they're delayed, you should cancel your orders and get your refunds, and then that way you could then, once you get your refunds, buy a new machine if you don't want the same artwork. At Games, I guess they caught wind of that social media stuff, and they started making posts, I think yesterday, like in Facebook and Twitter and stuff, saying, just so you know, guys know, everything's on time, everything's coming. What's funny is when this thing first got announced and it was just the Addams family, I did a stream with Stephen Haywood, the Tech Buzz, because him and I were kind of reacting to it. And him and I have been there, done that with AtGames over the years. And if there's one thing about AtGames that you could always count on, nothing's for sure. What is it? The only thing for sure about AtGames is nothing's for sure, right? Like sometimes they deliver on XYZ date, but as promised. But most of the time, to be fair, and AtGames people, calm down, but it's true. Most of the time when they promise something, yes, we do end up getting it, but not when they first say we're going to get it. You know what I mean? Like it's usually like a big delay. Hey guys, we got a firmware coming out in February and it doesn't come out till June. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of stuff that you deal with AtGames. So I remember when Steven and I reacted to this, like the day the 4K pinballs got announced, him and I were both very skeptical. Like there's no way they're going to deliver machines by December. It's not going to happen. But AtGames was pretty adamant that, now here's the key word too, guys, to remember on their social media post this week. They said, we still are on target to ship Wave 1 pinball orders December 25th through January 1st or something like that week of Christmas. That's the key word, guys. That doesn't mean you're going to have it in your hands. It means it's going to ship. And as long as AtGames can prove, I don't know how they're going to prove it, but if they make an announcement and say, hey guys, we have all the Wave 1 pinballs are on a boat as of today sailing over here, then they met their promise. Because they only promise ship, not receive. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I mean, I know if they don't ship and don't prove that they shipped, there's a chance that I would cancel my Addams family order because it's common sense. It's common sense. If they I would cancel and probably order Attack from Mars because it looks cooler. It does look great.
But wouldn't you be paying more? Did you get the Addams family when it was on that like
whatever
sale?
So what's interesting about the Addams family is it was $100 cheaper than Attack from Mars. So Attack from Mars would be $100 more. I probably would spend the $100 more. I think maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see how much they're charging for it, because even by then, will they might not have that deal going on. It might be back up to.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. So like you got in at like a pretty decent discount, but by the time that decision is made, you may be trading off one package for another one and having to pay $300 more, right?
Okay, but then when I think about it too, if I'm going to buy artwork from someone like Arcade Graphics, Buy Stuff Arcades or something, a full artwork kit on a pinball machine like this, they're probably going to charge $200, minimum $200. upwards of 300, depending on who it is.
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, so just get the one you have, buy some artwork, apply it.
But do you need the artwork? Like, is the Addams Family that bad that you'd want to cover it?
Well, we'll see when I get it. It might look so beautiful when I do like the coloring. I like the green shades and stuff. I think it looks pretty cool.
It looks good.
Once I have it in hand, I'll be able to say, whether or not I truly like it. I got to see it in person. I didn't get to see it at any convention or anything yet.
And generally speaking, these things tend to look a little bit better in person than they do in like some 3D photoshopped render, right? So,
yeah. Well, I mean, the only thing they said you would cancel and get your refund of your deposit, your $200 deposit is what I'm talking about.
yeah,
Remy,
yeah, they would. I think they said they would if their delays push into February or something like that, then you can get a refund, and then you can repurchase whatever other one you want. But I'm also finding it interesting that so many people are complaining about like, oh, I wish I'd known that it was going to be this artwork. Like, I know we didn't know up front that what the other packages were going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But to be fair, we did know that there was going to be 15 total FX Legends 4K machines coming out. And it wouldn't be that challenging to take a look at what the lineup is on Pinball FX to see what the potential options are. I feel a little less sympathy for the people who are like, oh, well, I didn't know there was going to be an Attack from Mars. I was like, well, you did know there was going to be 14 other artwork packages, and they're all going to be major IPs because that's what Zen Studios has. They don't have like anything outside of some very notable IPs. So it's just, I don't know. It's unfortunate. If I were somebody who would pre-ordered the Addams Family and I got it in at that massive discount, I don't think any other artwork package is going to justify me spending, $300 more for effectively the same product, just with different skin.
Yeah. Yeah, odds are I'll just have to, get what I get and just be happy with it. Maybe reskin it in a year or two if I get bored of looking at it. Give myself something to do. It's important to note, one thing I've noticed is whenever AtGames posts stuff about the pinball machine, a lot of people ask questions about what's included with the pinball machine. So I figured it'd be nice to include this. This is part of their little flyers they put on their Facebook pages. The number one question a lot of people ask is about the solenoids, and yes, the 4K does include solenoids. All versions of the pinball machine, whether it's an FX collector's edition or whether it's the Addams Family, you're going to get your solenoids. You're going to get your built-in storage. You're going to get 3 screens. You're going to get the new user interface. Blah blah blah. So that's important to remember, is you are going to get your solenoids. What's interesting is they're doing this whole thing now where they're on this kick of, do you want us to pre-install your surround sound kits?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see how that could be so difficult. All you really need to do, their surround sound feedback kit looks very similar to the Buy Stuff surround sound feedback kit. I wonder where they got inspiration for that. I'm just teasing, but from what I've seen, the videos and pictures I've seen of their kit, it looks very similar to the Buy Stuff surround sound kit, which if you have a drill and know how to drill one hole and have a screwdriver, you could mount that yourself and not have to pay extra money, because I think they said they wanted to charge people more money to do the installation themselves, as well as it will delay you receiving your product by, they said, like 3 weeks. 3 or 4 weeks to get your pinball machine if you want them to install it for you. I think a lot of people out there will be able to install it themselves. I want you guys to feel confident that you can. But if you honestly don't have any interest in doing that, like I am not a tech guy, I don't want to break anything, then by all means have them put it in for you, as long as you know your machine's going to be delayed a little bit. But because not everybody wants to, mess around on the inside of the machines. In my opinion, I don't think it's going to be as complicated as they're making it out to be. Their posts really seem to stress like, it's really important that maybe we do this for you.
Well, I think I actually disagree with you on this one, only because I think just functionally it's easier. Instead of getting these machines, ripping them apart, then doing whatever you're going to do. Maybe you're not technically savvy. Maybe you are. It doesn't matter. For $50, just to save yourself the hassle, to know that on day one, when you open it up, it's done.
ready.
You don't have to do anything. For $50, like when you're talking about a $1,500 machine, adding an extra $50 is really negligible.
Yeah.
Right. And you're already spending the extra money on the sound kit anyways. So I think the fact that they were charging $100 and then they said, hey, if you do it, we'll give you a 50% off discount. It'll be $50. They're also doing the 1-year warranty with it, right? You get a 1-year warranty with it because you're going to get a 1-year warranty on the kit anyways. So I don't know. From my perspective, I can technically mod it, no problem. I don't need their kit. I could go buy any kit and I could mod a machine, and I've got the knowledge to do that. But to know that I don't have to take this thing apart, I don't got to fuss around with it. I don't got to run wires. I don't got to screw anything. I don't got to drill my own holes. I just know that I'm going to take it out of the box and it should just work.
Yeah.
To me, that's worth $50.
So Evil Genius here, he's content creator. I like Evil Genius. He mods the crap out of everything, but he's probably going to pay the $50 just to have them do it for him. So, I mean, how much is your time worth? I mean, think about it, guys. How much is your time worth to you? That's what you should ask. In my opinion, I don't think it's going to be as complicated as they're making it out to be. But I appreciate the fact that they're offering it to people, because it was interesting when they were like, buy the pinball machine, but if you want the surround sound, you got to put it in yourself. And now they're doing an option to do both. So, I mean, it sounds like they're just trying to make everyone happy. Pick what works best for you in your situation, right?
Yep. Yeah. And if somebody says, no, I don't want to spend the $50 or I don't want to do this, then do it yourself. Like, that's totally cool. Maybe you enjoy doing stuff like that, right? Yeah. So you could be the type of person who really enjoys that.
So real quick, Chris, just a quick heads up. Originally, when the pinball machines were originally announced, the toppers were not going to be lit up, but that got changed. Every pinball machine that has a topper come with it, topper lights up. So that's nice that they... Yeah. So it's like what they did is they took the LED they were going to use for the marquee that was going to be lit up, and they've just moved that to the topper. And it sounds like the bezel doesn't light up. Like there's that's what it sounds like. So all they did was swap one location for another, and it makes more sense to light up the topper than the marquee.
Yep.
So yeah,
I agree with that too. I think that was a good move.
That was another good move. Yeah. National history packs. So what's nice about the Pinball HD for now is they're still going to support it and release new games. Natural history pinball pack, is it 2 or 3? It's 2, right?
2. Yep.
2, that's supposed to come out sometime next year. They're supposed to be making pinball games based upon Killer Instinct, Battletoads, Sea of Thieves, and those games will be available on the high definition pinball machines next year. The only ones exclusive to the 4K machines are the Zen Studios games, right?
Correct. Yep.
So as of today, everything is going to come out on the pinball machine you might already own. So minus Zen Studios. So keep that in. And why is that? Why can't they get the FX engine running on the high def pinball machine, you think, Restalgia?
So there's a difference between the FX3 engine and the FX engine. And the FX engine is a little bit meatier, like it requires more power. And I think the biggest challenge would be trying to get the FX engine. Maybe they could get it to run on the HD machine on the RK3399 chipset that they have. But I really think they're going to struggle to get it to run at 1080p 60 frames. So I think that's problematic, and I don't think they'd be able to deliver the experience, the gameplay experience that they would want or that people would actually expect. So I think that's probably a pretty big barrier. Just the power that's required isn't there in the HD. And then there's also there's some people who are talking about, well, why not just get the FX3 versions and get them on the HD? But I don't actually have an answer to this. I'm totally speculating, but maybe it's licensing. Like I would imagine that Zen would license out FX3 separately than Pinball FX. So I think there's probably 2 different licensing channels that have to be negotiated there. And then on top of that, maybe Arcade1Up still actually has the FX3 license under lock and key for the time being. I do remember hearing when they released their pinball that there was like a 4-year or 5-year exclusivity on FX3, and maybe Pinball FX is the workaround. And this is just, where the cards are landing, and this is what AtGames has to work with. And, or maybe this is what Zen said, and they said, Pinball FX is our future. We don't want to invest any more time or efforts into FX3, and we want to focus our efforts there. So,
yeah, there's a number of reasons why they're not going to do FX3 on the high def. Let me ask you a question though. If they were able to do it, could they do it? In your opinion, will the chipset and stuff in the 30 in the high def be able to run FX3? What do you think?
Could it run FX3 or Pinball FX?
No, I'm talking about the high def machines back here.
Yeah.
So Pinball FX, the Pinball FX engine and versions of those games is what's going to be on the 4K products. But the original products,
yes,
they're not getting Pinball FX because it can't handle Pinball FX.
Correct.
But can it handle Pinball FX3? Let's just say the door was open and it was possible. Do you think that machine could handle it? The FX3 engine?
Yeah, I think that the 3399 could probably handle the FX3 engine. I mean, the chipset that was in the Arcade1Up products was lesser than the RK3399 in terms of just brute power, the CPU, the GPU, even the what the chips were clocked in at. The challenge, I think, is still going to be that Arcade1Up pushed out those products with FX3 at like a really subpar resolution. 720p could have been good, but it wasn't. It looked really bad. Everything was super pixelated. You couldn't read any text on the screen. And even with the upgrade kit or the mod that was done where you can run at 1080p, it's certainly better. It's just not amazing. So I think there's still probably some barrier in order to get it to run at 1080p 60 frames natively on the hardware.
Yeah. It's interesting. Could be hardware. Could be licensing agreements. Could be a number of things. Or Zen Studios could flat out say, we don't want to mess around with FX3. We're done. I mean, they got Pinball FX and they got Pinball M. Pinball M is so awesome, by the way. Yeah, so maybe they don't want to fiddle with it anymore. You never know, right? So there it is. Good stuff. All right. So anything else going on in your neighborhood, Restalgia?
Not actually a whole lot has been going on. It's been pretty chill. I've got a number of videos on the go. I'm doing a review video. It's mostly done on another Anbernic device. This is a newer one that just came out. This is the RG35XX Plus. I've got this little guy right here.
I have the RG35XX. You got the XX Plus.
I've got the XX Plus.
I got the XX. I don't think mine's the Plus. Mine's the gray one that looks like the Game Boy.
Yeah. The XX was like the original version that they had released. Right. And then the XX Plus is like the souped up version of that. They increased the power of the CPU. They fixed up the D-pad, which was kind of janky on it in the first place. They added Bluetooth in there, which is nice. So like you can actually make use of the HDMI out on the top. So you can actually turn it into like a console, plug it into a TV, and use a Bluetooth controller. Yeah, I mean it's a good handheld. The nice thing about them is that they're very economically priced. Like you can buy the device on its own without all the games and the extra storage for like $65. And then if you want one with like 128 gigs worth of video games and storage, it's like $80. It's actually pretty reasonably priced. Anbernic as well has always done an incredible job. Like they have some of the best handhelds that you can buy. So especially when it comes to like retro, third party, aftermarket, gray market types of products. So they just did a good job with it.
So real quick, Game Room Guru says, I think Buy Stuff Arcades is working on an Arcade1Up pinball mod. I haven't honestly heard anything about that, Game Room Guru. I appreciate the $2 super chat. So do you know anything about that? Have you seen anything from them? Let me check their Facebook page because that's usually where they put their stuff. Has anyone in the live chat seen? Are they doing something? Because I love modding pinball machines.
I actually haven't seen anything on this, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Buy Stuff store is like on everything. They just jump into every product they can, and then they somehow make it better. So it'd be interesting if they did that. Now, what exactly do you think that mod is going to be? Is it to like
I don't
replace
know.
the chipset and like run like a mini
I don't know.
PC?
I don't know. I mean, what was nice about the pinner mod for your Arcade1Ups is that thanks so much for the $500 super chat from James. Hey, everything not. Thanks so much. I appreciate the joke, buddy. What was so nice about the mystery encoder pinner mod, or team encoder pinner mod, I'm sorry, is that you could use both screens, and it was all done via USB.
Mhm.
Pretty much a simple process, right?
Yep.
Tech Gaming tried to do something creative where they came up with a mod, a control panel, but you weren't able to use both screens, so you weren't able
Right.
to use the DMD.
Yes. That was with the
So
Switch, right?
yeah, that was with running Nintendo Switch Pinball. Now I don't
Yeah.
know what Buy Stuff is working on. I'll have to reach out to them and see if I can get some info. But provided they're not going to do what Tech Gaming did, if they find a way to get 2 or 3 screens working, that would be pretty awesome in my opinion.
It'd be challenging.
Yeah.
They've got the technical know-how to do it, though. If they wanted to invest the resources, I'm sure they could figure it out. But yeah, I don't know.
So what's interesting is, AtGames immediately today, like I said, they go and they tell everyone, hey guys, just so you know, everything's on time. Like they went crazy saying it. It'd be really embarrassing for them to come back shortly thereafter and tell people, oh wait, nope, there is a delay. Because if that's the case, I mean, per their publications and their promises, you can cancel, get your money back, and pre-order maybe a different skin if you want.
Now
And
they did say if it gets pushed into February, then you could. I think that's what they wrote. That's what I was reading.
Yeah, we'll see.
So
It's going to be. We went through this as a bunch of. We call it a community. Back when the original pinball machine came out, do you remember? Everyone's like, "Where is it? When's it shipping? When am I going to get it?" Now we didn't have to deal with the whole, themes
sure.
artwork package debacle. But do you remember when it got announced? Everyone's like, "Where's my pinball machine? Where's my pinball machine?
Mhm.
What order number are you? Order number 3606 shipped. That means I'm next." But that doesn't actually mean you're next. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it was crazy.
Mhm.
It's crazy. So either way, we'll see. Bobby says he wants to put a poll in. I don't have time for a poll because I want to wrap up the show, but let's do this for Remy. If you find out your AtGames pinball machine is going to be delayed, are you going to cancel your orders? If so, put a 1 in the chat. If you find out it's not delayed and everything's running on time, give us a 0 in the chat. Real quick for Remy as we wrap up the show here.
Now the reason why people are talking about canceling is specifically so that way they can swap and get a different artwork package. Is that like what the?
Well, I mean,
the thing is?
technically, you could, from what their publications said, was you could cancel, get your refund for your $200,
Sure.
and you could just move on with your life and just never buy one, right? So,
Right.
Or you could maybe buy a new skin if you want. Who cares? Like it's your life.
Sure.
So let me know what you're going to do. Remy's going to cancel. Sandals is going to cancel. James, Zero Cool, Mitchie are not. Blue Moon says he's going to cancel. Paul says he wouldn't cancel unless he knew for sure he could reorder again, get new artwork. Leo, he's got patience. He's not going to cancel. Very stuff.
Yeah, T Slayer says the same
thing.
I
have no idea. I checked their Facebook page, James, and I can't find what this is with them doing a pinball mod, so I can't find it. There you go. All right, good stuff. Keep those numbers coming in. All right, guys. Well, our apologies. Carl was out. He had to do family stuff for the holiday. Michael B was here for about the first 45 minutes of the show, and then unfortunately his son is sick. So hopefully, big shout out to little Tommy. Hopefully that little slugger is feeling better. If you guys enjoyed the show, do us a favor, give us a thumbs up on the way out. Make sure you subscribe to the show, subscribe to the channel. We'd greatly appreciate it. Restalgia, any final thoughts? You're Carl tonight, so you got to send them on their way.
Oh, geez, I wasn't prepared for this. I don't have much. We're getting pretty close to the holidays. Are we going to be doing? We're doing another show next week, right?
Next week is the 22nd Friday. I plan on doing a show. So we will be doing a show next Friday. When it comes to the weekend after that, the 29th,
Yep.
if you guys want to do a show, you guys can do a show. Me personally, I plan on taking the 23rd through the 31st for
Mhm.
me and my family
That's
and
good.
myself.
There you
I
go.
am going for those 10 days. I'm going to avoid social media, stay off YouTube, stay off the internet. If someone tries to Facebook message me, I'm going to block them. That's how much I want to be away from the world and just recharge, rest my batteries, because 2023 was a hell of a year.
Mhm.
And if we're going to do this again in 2024, I need a break. Like a quick 10-day break. But yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back next Friday. You got to say, see you on the web. That's his big thing.
I'll get there. I'll get there.
All right.
Well, there you guys have it. P-Dubs says if you want to be his best friend, make sure you send him private Facebook messages anytime between Christmas and New Year's. He's going to love it. He'll do video calls with you. He'll get on the phone. He'll do whatever you guys need. He's feeling incredibly generous. Other than that, thank you guys so very much for watching. We'll see you on the web.
On the web.
On the web.